Simple scatter plot is a diagram or a chart that can be drawn in SPSS to examine or find out any relationship between two variables. And what kind of relationship? Is it a positive relationship or is it a negative relationship? By drawing a scatter plot, and then also determining whether there is a outliers or outliers in your data. And outliers are the extreme high or low data scores in your data. So I will show you how to draw a simple scatter plot in SPSS, how to edit that diagram, and how to export the graph or the chart or the diagram into a Word document or a PowerPoint or a PDF format file, or save it as a PDF file. So here I have a data in SPSS in which I have 8 columns. First one is a dichotomous variable, gender, male and female. And in these data, I'm interested in looking at the relationship between the data 1 and data 3 by drawing a scatter plot to examine the relationship between them prior to doing correlation. The way to draw a scatter plot is to go to click on graphs, scroll down to legacy dialogues, click on scatter plot, then click on simple scatter, as here we are doing a simple scatter plot. Define, reset this, and I'm going to move data 1 into y-axis and data 3 into x-axis. I could also add a title or a subtitle or a footnote into the diagrams, but here I will leave it blank as I'm going to do this in another way. Up to here, click on the icon for OK. A diagram, a scatter plot diagram is drawn by SPSS, and here we can see the data 1 is on the y-axis, data 2 is data 3 on the x-axis, and the relationship between those two variables is represented by small circles. So if I double click on the graph, another window will come up. Here what I'm interested in, adding a trend line. So if I add a trend line, a line will be added to the scatter plot, and I'm going to remove this small square from here. So if I untick the attach label, this will disappear, and then close this. Now if I want also to remove the gray background here, double click on the gray background. Again here a window will appear, and if I'm going to select the preview, make it white, and then click on apply, the background has disappeared and become white. Now if I want also to remove this small square here, which are 2 for linear, click on it and then right click on it again and click on delete to remove it. Close. Now if I want to do more editing, changing the color of this small circle, just double click on them, and here a window will appear giving you the options to change the size. I can go for 3, and I can go for color, change the color into, let's say, this color, dark blue, and I can also increase the border width, and I apply it and look at it as here. I could also close it and close this, and then look at it, it's like a small dot. Now if I double click again, and these are small dots here, no major changes. Okay, also I could change the color of the trend line or the best fit line for a linear options by going at the line color here, and I can change really the style of the line. I can change the width, make it more wider, and check apply, and you see it's thicker. I could change the color into red and check apply. Again, I have here a red trend line and with the blue circles in it. Now what else I can also do edit if I would like to add a title here or a footnote or a subtitles. The way to do is to right click on this diagram, a list will appear here. I could really add the x-axis reference line and so on. So if I would like to add a title, I could click on add title and then type in the title here, correlation. Okay, correlation. And I also could add, should be a little bit capital letter. If I double click on it, I could really change this into capital letter. And again, so I could also add annotation if I would. If you would like to add annotation, and that will be in the graph. You want to remove the annotation, double click on it and then right click again and click on delete. I could also again double click on the diagram and then right click. I will get add text box if I want. I can add a footnote by typing, let's say, figure whatever, number 1. Now I have a title and a footnote for the diagram. What else? Also I can do some editing for the diagram. If I choose transpose chart, the y-axis and x-axis swap, as we can see here, data 1 in the x and data 3 in the y. And if I don't want to, if I click on transpose again, it will be revert back to the original. So these are some of the common edit you can perform in SPSS to shape up your diagram. I could also do some changes here on this. If I click on these x-axis numbers, double click on it, I could change the style by increasing or decreasing the size. I could also change the color if I want. Change the color into, let's say, green. How does it look like with the green? And so on. I could do a few editing here. I could also remove, make it decimal by clicking at the number format and here decimal, change that into 0. So to remove the decimals. I could also change the scale if I would, increasing the scale, minimum and so on. So minimum increment, instead of 5 I can make 2, so I will get more number in between and so on. And the same thing I could do for the y-axis by double clicking on these numbers, and I could go for number format and I stick to decimal 1 and then apply. Again, 1 decimals disappeared and so on and so on. I can also change the scale, change the label and change the text and style and make the color yellow if I would like, or I will stick with this color for a little bit of change. And also I can change the scale here, major increment 0.5, I could make it 0.1 to increase it, and if I click on apply and so on, more incrementing added. I could also change the title for the y-axis. If I single click on it, it allows me to change the the label on it, whatever, add or remove letters from it. However, if I click on double, I can also change the size here. If I again click on double, I can increase the size of this into 14, apply, and so on. And the same thing going for the x-axis. If I only single click, I can do changes here, correction, data, and so on. And if I double click here, I can change that to 14 and apply, and so on. Now this is probably the final shape of the diagram. If I want now to export the chart into whether a Word document or PowerPoint, or save it in a PDF format, the way to do that is to go back again to the original graph, right click on it. You have two options here. I'm going to show you the two: copy special or export. We start with export. If I click on export, it's give me an option here, say what type of document you want to export it, as a PDF, as a Word document, as a PowerPoint, plain text, and so on. We will go for Word documents here. If I click on Word documents, and I'm going to save that in one of the folder here, I had correlation, and I will save it here, and I call it correlation graph, correlation graph. Click save, click OK, and click here open the containing folder, and it should automatically open the folder saved here, correlation graph. And if you all click on the correlation graph, you get the graph in Word documents. However, if you saved it in for example, if you go back again and we save it, export that in a PDF format, again call it correlation graph. Okay, again it has also saved it in a PDF format with figure, with title, labels and X and Y axis, and footnotes. And if you want to do it in PowerPoint, it's also similar to that. Now the other way also to, instead of exporting the graph, is rather than exporting it, is to copy special. In a copy special, if you click on right click again, if I repeat, right click again in the graph, copy special, then click on image. You have to click on image because you want to transfer this diagram as an image. And then if I go here to PowerPoint, and then new page, and then right click, and then click on the diagram, the Scatterplot is transferred into PowerPoint. So this is the way to draw a scatter plot in SPSS. Simple scatter plot. In this part 2 section of the video, I will show you how to build a simple scatter plot using chart builder. Back again to the SPSS. Here I have the data, and I'm going to plot a scatter plot looking at the data correlation or relationship between data 1 and data 3, and I'm going also to add another variable, which is the gender dichotomous variable, male or females, and sort out the scatter plot comparison or relationship between data 1 and data 2, and sort them out according to their male or female gender. So to do this, I will click on graph, and then scroll to chart builder. Click here OK, and then you will get a window like this. In this window, I'm going to scroll in the gallery down to scatter dot, and in the scatter dot diagram or plot, we have here different options, either to draw a simple scatter, grouped scatter, simple 3D scatter, grouped 3D scatter, and so on and so on, and matrix scatter plot. And I'm going to select the simple scatter plot. If I click and drag into this empty box, again here I have the scatter plot ready to place data 1 in the y-axis and data 3 into the x-axis. So now I want to, if I click also on the basic elements, I have another function here. If I want to swap this, I can do transpose to swap the axis, data on the axis. And if I click on a group point ID, this is an extra additional function for drawing a chart. If I am going to add a third grouping, a third variable for grouping these data, so if I group the data using gender here again and click on OK, SPSS will generate a scatter plot between data 1 and data 3 and will arrange them according to their gender. These data, male blue and female is green. And if you go back again to the chart builder, I could also, instead of using the grouping, I could go also group the data in rows panel variable and move the gender to the panel. And if you click OK, what happens here is that a scatter plot is generated, splitting it into two diagrams, data 1 compared to data 3 for male and female in one diagram, but split according to the gender. This is when we use the function rows and panel. However, if we select the columns, arrange them by columns, panel variable, and move the gender to the panel, again the scatter plot will be produced, data 1 compared to data 3, but split on columns for male and females according to their gender. So these are some of the editing things that can be done when you use the command for chart builder. And again, if you click also in point ID, I'll move it to the point and click OK. Again, the gender of each individual circles, it will be labeled either male or female. And if you go back again, click this one, get out of this one. Again, if we click, close this one, and then if we click on chart builder, in this chart builder we are going to stick to group by coloring, by gender, color the genders for data 1 and data 2. And if we click on title here in this section, I can really add a title. If we go back again here, we have to move the gender up to here so it can be really finished. So if we click on title, foot, gender, and in this I can type a title for this plot by calling it correlation. Click apply, and then I could also add a footnote and call it figure 1 and apply. Okay, now I think we are ready here to in the options. I don't think we are going to make any changes, nor in the element property. So far we only click the icon for OK. A diagram will be produced with again title correlation, footnote figure 1, x-axis label data 3 and y data 1, and then legend of genders, blue for male and green for female. If I double click on the Scatterplots, another window will open. In this Scatterplot, I'm going to do a few editing. First of all, I'm going to insert a trend line using linear trend line as here, and I'm going to untick the attach label to the line. So just to get rid of this box, if you click apply, this line is produced. Now if I want to change the background here from gray into white, click on it, click apply. Again, the background is white now. If I want also to get rid of this R square linear, click on it, right click on it, one click, and then left click and then right click and go for delete and delete that things. Close. Now if I want also to either increase these circle things or decrease them, whichever ones, or to even change the color for them, I can do that through this window. And I can change even the type, whether square, circle, and choose other shapes. And if I click apply, again the circle's size increased. I also can change the line color. If I would, I could probably put a red color, apply, and trend line is produced red color. What else I can do editing with this diagram? I could also, as shown before, could change this data y-axis level, increase the font or decrease the font, change its color, put another color. If we can here go for, let's say, light blue, and apply it, this will be light blue, and do the same thing for this one, light blue, and apply, and so on. And also I can change the size and change the style, whatever, bold or not bold or normal, and so on. Furthermore, also I could change also this figure on the x-axis. If I would like to remove the decimal from it and make it 0, so I'm getting just numbers without decimals. I could also change the scale, major increment, make it, let's say, 2, and we get more data, more numbers on the x-axis. Could do the same for the y-axis also. Change the increment 2.2 to increase it more, to give it more, and go for number formats. Here I'm going to change the decimal to 1 to make it 1. I click on OK. Again, as we can see here, this is the diagram in which we have correlation as a title, figure 1 as a note, footnote, then can change the data label on the y-axis, the data 3 or label on the x-axis. So this is the way to do chart builder. Now if I want again to import or to copy and transfer this diagram into Word document or PowerPoint, or save it in a PDF as I shown before, I'm going to close this one. Now I have this plot. I can right click, copy special, and I make sure that I tick on the image, click on OK, and again I could open here a new PowerPoint and paste the diagram here. That's one option. Or I can select the diagram and click on export. Again, I have options here to export it as PDF, as Word document, as PowerPoint. We'll go for PDF, and I'm going to save that in this desktop in the correlation in SPSS, and then I'm going to call it correlation and if I click save, and then I'm tick the open the containing folder, click on OK. Again, it's exporting it to the folder, and hopefully soon it will show up the location of the Scatterplot as shown here in a PDF format. So this is the way to build a scatter plot in SPSS using chart builder with modification, and how to modify it and edit it, and how to export that into different software packages like Microsoft, PowerPoint, Word document, and so on.